Hey friends, it's Sarah Rittendale. When I decided to act against all the toxic thoughts and feelings I was living with daily and try to become my best self, I quickly fell into the very common trap of perfectionism. So, I decided to create a space where wellness doesn't mean being flawless. Becoming the best version of yourself doesn't just come from conversations about managing your mean mind, learning confidence, and always doing the things that you're supposed to do. Here, we talk about how normal your toxic feelings and thoughts are, that you're not doing something wrong because you don't always feel, think, or act how you envision your best self to, how to implement self-improvement strategies in a realistic way, and we do this through a variety of topics that often prompt our best selves to crave emergence. My mission? Inspire you to recognize that you don't have to be perfect to consider yourself whole, healthy, and well. This is the Well-ish podcast. Hi friends, it's your host, Sarah Rittendale. Welcome back to Well-ish. Today's episode is going to shift the way we think about life's challenges. We're shifting into this idea that all experiences are fundamentally neutral. It's the meaning that we attach to the experiences that shape how we feel and cause us to react in whatever way we see fit, whether that's with intention or it's an automatic reaction based on emotion. When we embrace this mindset that we're going to be talking about today, we can find more inner peace, reduce stress, and approach life with more intention so that you can feel more in control of who you are and how you're showing up in your life and not feel like you're just at the whim of whatever emotion is triggered based on the outside things that are happening in your life, the things we essentially can't control. And let's be real, who doesn't want that? So if you're an old-time listener, I don't know. If you're an oldie, welcome back. But if you are new here, welcome. At Well-ish, we believe that wellness isn't about perfection. It's about progress and self-compassion and embracing the messy, imperfect journey of life. I'm here to help you navigate it all, one small shift at a time, even if there's just one thing you take away from every episode that helps you ease your mind and know that you don't have to get it all right in order to consider yourself well. To start off the episode, we've got something really exciting and special today, a guided meditation led by our amazing guest, Liz Landon. It's designed to help you relax, center yourself, and get into this receptive space for the conversation ahead. So whether you're at home or you're out on the go, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get started. Also, like I said, if you're out on the go, if you're driving or at a place that you can't fully dive into the meditation, no big deal. Just skip ahead about 6 minutes when you hear her begin the meditation. Skip forward about 6 minutes and you can get straight into the main conversation. But when you can, I definitely encourage you to come back to the meditation. It's a really powerful way to reset and get into a more grounded space. I did it with you guys. I'm fully in the middle of it. You can watch my reaction to the meditation. I literally can feel my body vibrating from this meditation, and it lasted like the next 10 minutes of the interview while I was sitting there talking to her. I was totally like in this Zen space because of it. So it's a really, really good one, and she crafted it just for you guys. So it's super exciting. And before we do get into today's episode, a quick favor. If you love the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It's the best way to help the show grow and reach people who need to know that wellness isn't about being perfect, but about being real and honest and kind to ourselves. Your support helps me keep bringing more episodes like this to people who feel like they're just not getting it right, quote unquote, and need to hear that that's okay. So now that that's out of the way, let's dive in. I'm so excited to welcome Liz Landon to the show. Liz holds a master's in education, is a certified hypnotist, and a law of attraction coach. She helps people reframe challenges, unlock their potential, and build emotional resilience. And today, she's going to share some practical tools and real life examples so we can actually apply these ideas to our lives. So grab your coffee, tea, a cocktail, whatever you're feeling, and let's get started. Liz, thank you so much for being here on Wellish. I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I feel like there's going to be a synergetic match with Sarah.
I agree. I agree. I'm so excited. I really wanted to talk to you in an attempt to explore the idea that all experiences are fundamentally neutral. It's just what word do I want to use?
We tend to apply our own definitions, right?
Yes, like whatever the meaning we attach to
Mhm.
these things are what causes our emotional response. And I really think it'll resonate with my listeners because it highlights how wellness doesn't just require perfection, but a shift in mindset. And I think the shift in the mindset and learning how to do that and build the habit of neutralization of all things is going to be like a game changer for people.
Absolutely. This is fantastic because we make our own perceptions reality. So
Right.
often I hear people say like, "Oh, I'm so traumatized. That's a trauma. That's a trigger." Already you're taking something that's neutral and we're placing a label on it.
Yes.
And that's where the what if game comes in. What if it's not trauma? What if it's something part of maybe our soul contract, let's say? What if it's something that our body is signaling to us from the visceral and cellular level that, hey, you have to feel and heal. You have something here that
Wow.
needs to be
Yeah.
softened and soothed. So what if it's not a trauma, but an invitation?
Okay, way to
Okay.
reframe that. That's so smart. That's so true. It's interesting when you just said that. It made me think of last week's episode. We were talking with somebody about essentially at the end of the day, like that we will put so much pressure on ourselves that like we think it's lazy, like we're being lazy for not like going balls to the wall trying to do all of the things, but by allowing it to be something that you listen to and say, hey, this is not my body saying like you're lazy, you suck, that you're failing, you're, giving up, all these things that your body's saying, hey, take a break. I can't handle it.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something to that too, because I do love reframing. And I also think we're one perspective shift from changing our lives. So if
Yes, I
someone was
agree.
to tell me, like, Liz, you're being lazy, I would be quick to remind them that, hey, doing nothing is doing something, right?
Ooh,
And
okay.
I'm honoring my body's need for rest, refuel, and rejuvenation. I'm honoring my
Yes.
body. And it's so sad that we've slapped the word lazy on things when this world, we are so overstimulated and we're processing the world around us. And plus, by the way, hey, our childhood catches up to us as adults, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to get what I call emotion, energy in motion. And that might be just staying put because your body needs rest because maybe just maybe you're self-medicating, pacifying by living busy. If I stay
Mm-hmm.
busy, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to
Right.
do it. Yeah, I'm going to slap that happy face sticker right on my empty gas tank and keep going.
Right. Absolutely. You're distracting yourself from what your mind is really doing. You don't want to listen to it. So you
Mhm.
fill your
Yeah,
life with stuff that you can't
you
do. That's
bet.
crazy. It's so true.
You bet. So I'm not being lazy. I'm refueling.
Right. Okay, well before we get too far,
Yeah.
I would love to set the tone of the podcast and let you take us away on this meditation. I'm so excited for it, and I think that it'll just really get us in the right frame of mind for the episode.
And I just picked up my phone at 111, which is
Wow!
so that's my favorite angel number. You cannot make this stuff up.
I
But
love it.
so I don't know if you know to know a little bit about me. So I'm Liz Landon.
Yes, please.
Yeah, certified hypnotist, but I also wrote a book called Release Resistance. And I just believe that we're all, again, one powerful perspective shift from calling in the life that we are desiring. And what I love to do is help people release resistance. And another thing people say, oh, I have a block. And I would entertain the thought of like, oh, you have a lock. You have something that needs to be unlocked. Right.
Mm.
And so today, I want you to unlock while you're listening to your beautiful podcast. I want you to unlock your resistance. So I designed a mini meditation for the listeners where they can get into what I call the receiving mode. Right. And so then you're
Perfect.
able to really bask in what Liz and Sarah are about to talk about and take it in. And also, I would invite your subconscious to already trust my voice and know that everything is going to be okay. Like nothing else matters in this moment. You're here for a reason, right? So I would love your listeners just to take a nice deep breath through your nose and just blow out the BS. If we have time to feel like crap, we have time to feel good. And that's why I designed this meditation around. Woke up really inspired this morning. Take another deep breath through your nose and out your mouth. Setting an intention to release resistance and enter the receiving mode. Welcome. So settle in into a comfortable position, whether seated or lying down. And we're going to assume you're not driving. And gently close your eyes. This is your time to relax, release, and align with the energy of receiving. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Now this time feel your chest and your belly expand. And then exhale softly through your mouth. Let's do this 2 more times. In through your nose, out through your mouth, allowing your chest and belly to expand with each breath, guiding you deeper into calmness. 1 more time, taking a deep breath in through your nose, signaling your body that it's safe, it's sound, feeling your chest and belly completely expand. Exhaling softly through your mouth. Each breath guiding you deeper into calmness, reminding yourself at this moment it feels so good to feel good. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a tranquil shoreline. I want you to look around. I really want you to activate your imagination. What do you see? What do you feel at this tranquil shoreline? Allow these feelings to come in, feelings of calm, feelings of safety, feelings of protection. Feel the air, it's warm, with a gentle rhythm of waves soothing your entire being. Now as you breathe, you can feel the energy of the ocean sinking with your own rhythm, inviting you to relax even more deeply. With each breath, I want you now to picture a soft wave. Picture a soft, soft wave rolling toward you. As it touches you, it washes away any tension or heaviness. Feel the wave recede, carrying away the weight of the day. You feel lighter. Now another wave flows in, bringing calm and serenity. Breathe in calm, breathe in serenity. As the wave rolls back, it takes with it any resistance you've been holding. Wave by wave, allow yourself to sink deeper into a state of peaceful ease. You feel lighter with each passing moment, your mind and body growing more open and more receptive. Now bring your awareness inward. Notice in your body any resistance within you. Perhaps it's a thought, a feeling, or a sensation. Now, without judgment, simply observe the resistance in your body. Know this, resistance is a natural part of being human, and it's okay for it to be here. Quietly acknowledge it in your mind, and in your mind only. Say this: I see your resistance. I know you've been here to protect me. But in this moment, I no longer need that protection. I release you with love. I see your resistance. I know you've been here to protect me, but I no longer need your protection in this moment. I release you with love. As you continue to breathe, visualize this resistance kind of as a dark mist within you. And each time a wave flows toward you, as you're standing on the tranquil shoreline, it gently lifts this mist, this dark mist, dissolving it into the ocean. Feel in this moment how the resistance grows smaller and smaller until it's completely gone. Again, feel how the resistance grows smaller and smaller until it's completely gone. Now, within the next wave, you begin to receive. The wave is gold, and I want you to see a golden wave in this moment, shimmering with light, carrying peace, abundance, and ease. As it washes over you, feel its warmth entering every cell of your body. It fills the spaces once occupied by resistance, leaving you feeling so whole and so open. Now more than ever, you are open and ready to receive the following affirmations. I am open, I am free, I am in the receiving mode. I trust that everything I desire is on its way to me. I'm aligned with the energy of love and abundance. Now picture what you wish to receive. Visualize it as if it's already yours. Feel the joy and gratitude of having it now. See the details Feel the emotions and allow yourself to bask in the energy of your desires fulfilled. One more time, I'm open and I'm free. I'm in the receiving mode. I trust that everything I desire is on its way to me. I'm aligned with the energy of love and abundance. Let this vision become real in your mind as you breathe in deeply and exhale slowly, anchoring this energy through grounding into your whole entire being. As the wave continues to flow, you feel a profound sense of peace. You are free of resistance and you are ready to receive. When you are ready, bring your awareness now back to this present moment, wiggling your fingers and toes, feeling the surface beneath you, carrying this sense of alignment and openness with you throughout your day, trusting that all is unfolding perfectly. When you feel ready, open your eyes, step into your life, knowing that you are aligned, open, and ready to receive.
I love meditation.
Me
It's
too.
so good. That was so good.
I love visual. I love imagination.
Oh, me too. Oh, that was good. I loved that, Liz. I feel like that was like you like vibrating.
Yeah, exactly. We're cleaning out. We know, like we clean our homes, right? We clean out and we just allow for the new and the fresh. And so we need to do the same with our subconscious. Just clean out, get in there, clean out the cobwebs, and get in the
Hmm.
new, the shiny objects. Allow them in, for
So
sure.
good. I
Hmm.
love it. That's it's cool because I feel like a lot of the people that I talk to swear by meditation, and so it's nice to actually bring a meditation into the beginning of this, so
Yeah.
that anybody that hasn't ever tried meditation, especially with such a good example that you just gave, it really does make you feel good, and that you can take that into this conversation and into the rest of your life, like the thinking of the acknowledging I see you resistance,
Yes.
but I know that you were there to protect me, but I'm releasing you with love. I love that.
Yes.
So
And
good.
right, I have this profound belief that it's in the discomfort where expansion occurs, right? So we
Sure.
we have to release that resistance in order to show up for the life we know we are meant for. It keeps us safe, it keeps us protected. So does the ego, right? But at the
Mhm.
same time, you have to ask yourself, but is it keeping me small? Yeah. And with that, most likely it is. So it's like, thank you. Thank you for showing up in my life. But now I release you with love because I'm ready
Yeah,
to
that
bring.
was good.
Yeah.
So good.
Very cool.
Okay, well, let's get into neutralizing experiences. Tell me, I want to start with understanding this concept. So,
Yeah.
in your book, you mentioned that all experiences are neutral. Can you
Yeah.
explain what that means?
Yeah, it's so easy. Like for me, for example, I've struggled with anxiety, and I by all means did not have a childhood paved in gold, by all means, right? But somehow, Sarah, I'm still here. I'm still here. So where I might say like, oh my goodness, my anxiety gets in my way, or I'm just riddled with trauma. What if my anxiety in circumstances like as a child, where maybe as a latchkey child, for example, who was home alone a lot, what if my anxiety showed up to keep me safe and protect me? Right? What if my anxiety showed up because it was like, all right, you need to make sure the house is locked up. Not because I'm just scared, but maybe because I really need to make sure the house is locked up. Over time, I've taken on this idea like, okay, yeah, it's anxiety, but I don't do it like, oh, anxiety again. Oh no, I'm so full of anxiety. It's just debilitating. It's like, oh, there it is. It's showing up in my chest. I need to hit that pause button and tune into what's going on. What's going on. And if I listen to it, it's hard for me to slap on the label of anxiety. It's more like, okay, these are feelings and emotions, and my body is connected spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And I'm starting to connect the dots on how we can kind of collaborate to make it so I'm in a better feeling space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like it's my green light to heal something.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting because it makes it easier to respond with intention compared to just reacting to everything based on your emotion.
So well said. I mean, are you going to be reactive? Or are you going to be proactive? Right?
Mm.
Right. And so are we going to put the labels on our own feelings that society has given us? And then,
Mhm.
quite frankly, you work with people like I do in my office, and people don't even have emotional vocabulary. Sometimes they're misassigning. They're putting a label on something that doesn't really fit the bill. You know, they're like, oh, this person, I have a low sense of self-worth, let's say. Well, okay, so now we're going to slap that label on. And like, okay, so you've convinced yourself you're so full of low self-worth. Now look at your physical reality, because your inner reality is telling you, I'm full of low self-worth. Your physical reality is reflecting that. You probably have a partner who doesn't treat you well. Your job, you probably feel dismissed. You don't feel seen. So if you're going to feed that emotion, it's going to be reflected to you in your physical reality. So it's like, okay, before I put any label on anything, I want to make sure it's reflecting what I'm calling in. Now, I am not talking about spiritually bypassing anything, and I'm not talking about toxic positivity, because I am not going to walk around doing cartwheels and jumping jacks when I'm not happy. But what I do try to do is at least live like up on the emotional scale in the world of contentment. At least get to content. I'm not asking again to go up to like over enthusiasm, because, that's just for a lot of us not realistic. But if I can at least get to content, and that might mean quieting my mind, moving my body, even drinking water, even visualizing a different outcome than what I'm anticipating, because fear is a liar, liar. So get out of my way, fear, and so I just sit with my feelings and at least try to move to where I feel content. Like, okay, that's better than low level emotions.
Yeah. Well, and I like that you say that, because it's all just emotion, right? Like even the super high highs, happiness, like that's temporary emotion, just like fear and embarrassment and sadness that, you don't always feel those things either.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
so
that.
glad you use the word temporary, because again, when we just say like over and over, like, oh, I'm full of shame. Well, you're giving
Yes.
it the permanency, right? And it's like, okay, but if shame was a human, would you allow it to live in your home? Then why are you letting it
No.
live in your body?
Yes.
It's a
That
temp.
reminds me. Yeah, well, that reminds me of a Michael Singer quote. If you are familiar with him,
Yeah.
he's an author. Yeah. He said, if the voice in your head, that negative, horrible voice in your head, was sitting next to you on the couch and it was a real person, like you just said, would you let that person talk to you? You suck. I can't believe you said that. You're such an idiot. Why would you do something like that? Oh my God, they're so embarrassing. I bet they're thinking about it forever. You'd be like, shut the hell up. Shut the
Shut
hell
up.
up.
Get out of
Yeah.
my house, and
Right.
And that's exactly right. So when I do inner child, like past, age regression, not so much past life, but age regression, we practice beforehand and make sure you are going to use the voice that your inner child just longed for as a child, right?
Ooh,
So
that's
you
a good one.
actually, right. And with clients, you have to get in this like, oh, but no one ever spoke to me in a compassionate manner. Well, this is your chance. When we go back and you end up at age 8, age 6, or even baby, you are only to use the voice you longed for. You longed for. And sometimes, like, I don't even have a reference point. I'm like, who's one person in your life that you can emulate? And like, okay, I've got it. She spoke softly and slow, in their eye contact, got to my level. I said, that is exactly how you're going to speak to your inner child today. And going forward through future progression, that's exactly how you're going to speak to yourself going forward. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do not need to hear the voices like possibly of our toxic mom, dad,
Sure. Right.
both. Yeah.
Or any friends growing up, exes, anybody that's treated you poorly. It's almost like you do take that on. You take that voice on, how other people treated you, or it's almost like you feel like you deserve to be talked to that way, or there's no other way to be talked to.
Right. And I just have a hard time believing that, whether or not our souls chose our parents, whatever it is, it's part of, like I say, our soul's contract, whatever it is, I have a hard time believing that these people are the planetary authority on me. I have a hard time believing it, even though they brought me in this world, even though friends, my soul circle, my social circle, I don't believe anyone's the planetary authority on me but me. And
Yeah.
why would I give my power away? Right?
Right.
Why?
Absolutely.
And then let's just all talk about projection and transference. What if
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
Amen.
Well, so that makes me taking back that control brings me to the idea of like you were talking about reframing situations and turning challenges and like these shitty things that happen into opportunities. And if we build the habit of detaching these labels, it can help us see challenges as these opportunities for personal development instead
Yeah.
of being like, everything horrible in the world is happening to me and I suck and I deserve it. So
Yeah.
how can someone start practicing this idea in their daily life, especially when we're dealing with something challenging?
Okay, I'm going to give you a client example and then I'll give you
Love.
maybe some tips. So I have a client, if she shows up to a family event well cared for, her hair's done, her nails are done, she gets denied remarks from the family. Must be nice to have time to take care of yourself. Wow, someone's living the high life now. Huh, are you better than us? You know? And so what she did as a result is she stopped engaging in self-care down to basic hygiene to cater
Wow.
to them. To
Yes, this is so relatable.
is it? Oh my, yes. So we are lowering our vibration and frequency to cater to lower vibration frequencies, right? And frequencies. So her and I, we did the deep dive here, and part of it, I'll be honest, it was religion based. Part of it was, and part of it was upbringing, and part of it though, when she realized there's jealousy, there's
Mm-hmm.
comparison, which will keep us all in lack. Comparison is
Mm-hmm.
lack, right? So I was like, okay, getting into her subconscious, speaking directly to her subconscious and her higher self getting activated through hypnosis. Her higher self was like a life coach. Like, what are you doing? You love to be clean. You love to be pampered. You're working 10 to 12 hours a day. If you do not fill your cup, you're not going to be able to pour from an empty one. And her higher self lit her up. I just couldn't believe it. It's like a life coach. Like, let's not sink to other people's low level vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, she took that advice. She created a self care routine, and it's 10 things that she does. It's written down because she's redesigning her life by design, and she's sticking to it. And now she's ready. She's ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas. She's going with her nails done, her hair done, and like, okay, I would rather be an example of what you can be because I was in this home. I was my setbacks were my comebacks. I am a phoenix, right? Coming rising from the ashes. You
I
can
love it.
rise to me, but you're not going to take me down. You did that to me as a child, and I'm going to show the universe that as an adult, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to ask yourself, am I around, I'm going to say this, deflators or inflators, right? If you're, let's say, a tire, I love speaking metaphors. Are you around people that would pump you up or deflate you as a tire? You got to keep going. You got to keep running there. The rubber hits the cement. Are you set up to succeed with the people around you? And
Mm-hmm.
if anything, we're not changing for them. Our goal would be absolute a steadiness and alignment. So in those moments, like over the holidays, what's coming up, is that we have to access feelings of steadiness. So no matter what's happening around you, no matter what's being said, I just kind of see myself like I call it a source shield, like whether you're tuned into God, with spirit guides, what your human, whatever it is, whatever your human finds health and comfort in, put that source shield around you, protect yourself, stay steady, and know that you're not like that little girl anymore, that little boy anymore. You're an adult and you are
Mm-hmm.
here to just light the room up because you've come so far. You've
Yeah.
come so far.
Yeah. I say it's relatable because I feel like that can be interpreted into so many situations that you have to dim your shine for other people because other people want to put you down for whatever reason, mostly like what you were describing, jealousy, comparison, whatever else. And I'm curious, what advice do you have? Like, because, okay, so you go into that and you decide to, like, in your example, she doesn't take care of herself. She doesn't do those things anymore because it's easier to just not feed into it or not give them any ammo. So I'm just going to not do or say anything, even though it's in alignment with who I am. I'm just going to not set myself up to be talked to that way. So I don't have to waste the energy on trying to like deal with these people.
Mhm.
But at what point do you, like, so then what? Like, and I know this is not going to be your answer, but like, then do you live in confrontation? Like, how, like, what does this look like once you
Yeah.
decide to
Yeah. This
start
is
doing
a
that?
beautiful opportunity to allow for energetic boundaries, right? So often we talk about verbal boundaries, like, okay, I need you to please respect me. I'm a guest in your home, even though I know I'm like your child, for example, I'm a grown adult. We go talk about, oh, we're going to set these verbal boundaries. That will often open the door to conflict, you know? So it's like energetically, how can we protect ourselves from energy vampires, energetic vampires? And what does that look like for you? You know your circumstances, you know. And then say, you know, for this particular person, she's going to say this one phrase. I just would love you know, I would just love for you just to just enjoy my company. I just want to enjoy family. You know, so she's just laying it out, but she's not going to lay it out and be like meek and you know she's going to lay it out in a way that she's posturing more and just say, you know what, I just want to enjoy my family, and she's going to feel it, not just say it. So again, there's energetics here, there's energetics, and I really have this core belief that we're not our age, we are our energy. So energetically, if she goes up to that house and we're the holidays and she's like, I need you to respect my boundaries, she's that little girl again. If she
Mm-hmm.
could just dial it up energetically, you know what? I just want to enjoy my family. And I appreciate you noting that. I really do. I'm so happy to be here. And they feel her at the visceral, that cellular, deep level. She will get a different response. She had to sharpen her energetics. So you have to ask yourself, what are you doing non-verbally? What are you doing verbally? What are you doing energetically when you are setting boundaries? They need to feel it. I'm a Scorpio. I come in, you can feel my energetics. I am protected, you know, and I put a lot of effort into that back in the day. Now it's pretty seamless, but it should become second nature. So she is actually role playing. She's role playing. And I appreciate that about her. She's gearing up because it's such a story she's told for so long, that she's
Mm-hmm.
that little girl, that sister, that aunt, that she can get picked on. You know, they're going to take her down a little bit, but she wants to
Yeah.
be with family. And so she's going to practice energetically who she is. And they are going to say, there's something different about you. And she's going to say, thank you.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that you bring up the role playing, because
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too, is that, it takes practice. We
Oh,
say these things and they're all like great. But I feel like when I first started dealing with this kind of stuff and trying to step into the energy I wanted to present instead of the one that I was just reacting emotionally to, that I would just be more along the lines of like, stumbling and afraid to set the boundary or whatever else. But if you at very least just feel, like you're saying, you feel it, what you're trying to get across, even if you don't say it exactly as you pictured in your mind, because it is a practice and you have to, like you said, make it second nature eventually through
mhm.
practice, that
Mhm.
you would I don't know, I trust that they would still catch the vibe.
I think so, because she just was in I think a bookstore or something, and someone said, "Girl, what's your secret?"
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
so
so
cool.
funny. And
She said Liz.
yeah, right, that is Liz Landon. Oh, so she does. But I was so happy for her. I was like, yes, because she's just in a bookstore. She's not even saying anything, but it's that feeling, that feeling.
Yes.
Yes, we are powerful creators. We just
Mhm.
forget because we somehow fall into the mundane, right? We are in this philosophy that we have to work till we're retired, and then just then we can have fun. But it's like,
Mhm.
oh, close the time space reality starting now from a place of total appreciation for who you are. She has so much to appreciate about herself, and everyone
Mhm.
listening has so much to appreciate. We've come so far. We're still here. We have a 100% track record for getting through our worst days. We're
Yeah.
still here. So it's like,
Yes.
yes. So here we are. And so own your story. Own your story. But my dad had a mug when I was growing up, and it said, arise, go forth and fake it. And I was like so appalled. I'm like, you fake it? And he's like, I do. I have to fake it till I make it. And I thought, oh gosh, that's kind of like imposter syndrome to me. But then even imposter syndrome, who am I to not be the expert in being me?
Mhm.
Right. So, of course, I have to fake it till I make it on certain things, because I am rewriting a story that unfolded till I was 18 years old in a house that really I have no control over. So I'm holding the pen and I'm faking it till I make it. And then it just becomes just so second nature, you know?
Yeah. Well, that makes me think of mindfulness. Like, how much does mindfulness play a role in the emotional charge that we associate with certain experiences?
Oh, yeah. And in a meditation, I saw the word mindful, and then I saw mind FULL, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just probably floating out there somewhere, but that's what I saw. So I'm like, okay, am I being mindful, Liz? Or am I being mindful? Right.
Yes.
And often I'm being full, the
Yeah. Shame.
right? And so I don't think that's what we're supposed to, so I just would invite the listeners to differentiate, like, okay, am I being mindful? Like, when was the last time I took my shoes off and just put my feet on the ground? When was the last time I took a deep breath? Am I drinking water, right? Am I pivoting thoughts that are toxic? Am I changing lanes with thoughts that are really impeding my journey? So ask yourself that. So am I being mindful? And if your mind is full, one thing that works for me, it doesn't work for everybody, but is definitely, I take a journal and it's not pretty. I just carte blanche, go, just free write. And yeah, is there vulgarity sometimes, or profanity, right? I'm just, F this, out. I need it out. And so that isn't a safe outlet for me, and I don't mean to be like, but sometimes just swearing is cathartic for me.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And so, and also you read the studies on it, it's a sign of intelligence for a lot of people, because
Really? Yeah.
we can turn it off and on, right? So my journal is my platform to just go. And,
Yeah.
and so it's not this like beautiful handwriting. No, no,
Right.
it's cathartic, it's therapeutic, it's a release. So what can you do to get rid of the monkey brain? You have to ask yourself, like, what works for me? A walk, bilateral movement, a song that I listened to when I was a teenager, when I was fun and alive. What is it? And have something cathartic. You need that release.
So is that what brings you back to neutralizing experiences, is by doing that like cathartic release, would you say?
Yeah, I do. When I say monkey brain, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm on the hamster wheel of life here, right? And
Mhm.
it's supercharged, and I feel it, and then it starts to take over my being, my whole being. So you have to be like, okay, what can I do to feel better in this moment? One thing that works really well for me is kind of like a neuro linguistic programming a little bit. I can tap into a Liz that was fun and full of freedom. I can go back and find her and kind of live with her for a little bit. That means like closing my eyes for just a few minutes and bringing her back. I can tap into my higher self or my future self, and she would tell me like, okay, Liz, let's reframe this so you're not so full of thoughts that are just depleting you. It's not
Mhm.
good for your health. It's not good for anything in your life. And focusing on the unwanted, right? So worrying is praying for the unwanted. So
Mhm.
again, as powerful creators, how can we use our thoughts for the wanted versus the unwanted? And so that in itself motivates me to just really release the thoughts that are no longer serving me for my higher good. And so
Mhm.
you have to ask yourself, what can I do in real time to feel better? What can I do in real time to feel better? Because I don't think a lot of us are feeling good a lot of the time.
Right.
We know that we're seeing the highlight reels of people's lives on social media. We're seeing the highlight reels. And it's just, and that in itself, again, I'm worried that so many people are in lack because of comparison. And so you just have to ask yourself in real time, what has worked for me in the past? You're like, nothing. I've always felt like crap. Okay, well, let's bring up a memory where you actually felt good. There's got to be one where you felt good. And I'll give you an example, another client example. He's like, he was doing online dating, and he would get online. Would they do Zoom meetings? This was during COVID, and during Zoom, and he couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. He's like, and he's this great person with me. He's so great. He's like such a catch. I'm like, come on. Okay, we figured it out. He's like, I've never been able to talk to people. I will never meet my soulmate. We tapped into a memory where he ran for student council and won. And this
Oh.
who it was, he was behind a podium. And I'm like, okay. okay, where can I work with this? So I said, what gives you comfort in your home? He said, okay, I have this blanket that my grandma crocheted me. He goes, but I'm not going to be wrapped up in a blankie for online. I said, no, but we're going to put it on your lap. And
Yeah.
we're going to pretend it's a podium. And you can't even make this stuff up. I kid you not. I kid you not. If he was on here, he's a pretty well known healer, by the way. And this was happening. And he's got a huge social media presence. He went on to meet the person he is now married to because he leveled up
Wow.
by just tapping into a memory where he felt good. He felt good.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, so because I was going to ask you, so what is like like how do you get in front of those emotional triggers? Like I can picture when things are happening, you go into that mindset that sounds like your client did, that he's like, I've never been able to talk to anybody. I can't make anything happen. I'm never going to meet my soulmate. So like how do you get in front of that? Like, how do you get in front of that emotion and are able to bring it to neutrality?
Hey, Sarah, this is totally impromptu, but what's yours? What's coming up for you?
I would say my big one is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It depends on. So I'm also like an anxiety person.
Yeah.
So I would say it depends on the situation, but maybe just like I think I get like my anxiety will come out really bad when I get like when something's going wrong. So I'm like, you're an idiot. Like you can't figure anything out.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. And is that what the voice sounds like?
yes.
Yeah. So you literally call yourself an idiot and you can't.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I want to tell you something in this moment. In this moment, I've had a desire to start a podcast, and I have stayed like in the corner, because of lack of this feeling of like I'm so scared of the technology. And
Mm-hmm.
so here I am talking to someone who has headphones on, a microphone, has a podcast, you're on all these different platforms. So I'm not talking to an idiot or someone who can't figure things out.
Fair. Thank you.
Right.
Fair. Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
so you need to make a personal commitment, be like, you know what, though, however, I am sitting here with a podcast where so many people are inept to technology. You are showing up right here. No problem. So if just take a moment right now, I want you to take a moment and I want you to think of two other things that you do very well.
I think I'm good at giving advice to my friends
Okay,
and
so let's
family.
take out the word think.
Okay. I am good at
Okay.
giving advice to my friends and family. Even that gives me a little anxiety to say without the word think. So that's
Yep, there you
interesting.
go. That's definitely something to soften and soothe, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's sit with this for just a second. If I was
Mm-hmm.
to call your friends and family, or I was even to just randomly get on a phone and go like, hey, listener, first time listener, long time caller, whatever. No, first time caller, long time listener. Let's say we did a random live call to your listeners or your friends and family. And I said, how's Sarah as a friend and a family member? What would they say?
That I'm fun and loyal and yeah, I know. That's so silly.
The only thing you need to release that because I am fun and loyal is the only thing you should be saying to yourself. And you have
Yeah.
spread. People would
Mm-hmm.
say that, hey, Sarah,
And smart. That's
and
probably another
smart.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. Just keep them coming. And you
Yeah.
just go on your own little rampage. I'm fun, I'm loyal, I'm smart. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we can't see ourselves that way. We
Mm-hmm.
probably have someone in our life who sees us in a different light. And we're like, okay, can tap into their energy. I'm fun, I'm loyal, I'm smart. I'm fun, I'm loyal, I'm smart. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
figure things out. Damn it, I have a podcast. I have
Yeah.
a podcast. You're talking to someone who hasn't done it because she's a little afraid of the technology. And I have a son who lives with me who's a software engineer. I still haven't done it. You figure it out. Okay. And then one more. Give me one more.
I would say something along the lines of like it's interesting because I feel like it still falls into the line with intelligence for some
Yeah.
reason, but
Yeah.
just like feeling that not worthy, I guess, like, or I mean, just that like who am I? Like
Who am
imposter
I?
syndrome. Like nobody, why would anybody listen to me? Why would anything get anywhere? Or lazy, like that's another big one, like we were
Yeah.
talking about, like that I don't work hard enough or
Yeah.
all the things.
Well, I was the lazy one. Doing nothing's doing something, right? And sometimes
Hmm.
that is alignment. That is the flow, right? That is align. How we allow for alignment is personal, right? It's so personal. I couldn't run the Boston Marathon to get into alignment, but others could. You you allowing yourself to, laziness, too bad, doesn't get the credit it deserves. I do not think we're supposed to be living like we're living. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and there's people who are already commuted today for an hour and a half, and we'll do the same tonight. And they're working in a workplace that they don't like. So are you lazy, or are you out there living your best life because you know you have a soul's purpose and you're just navigating it? And navigating it means, really slowing down your mind so you can be tuned in, tapped in, turned on by everything that comes in, those downloads, those intuitive nudges. So is laziness a bad thing? Is it, and if you went through, let's say, a childhood that was pretty riddled and detailed with things, events that are unwelcoming, what if you're recovering?
Yeah.
What if you're,
That's really real.
if I was a physically injured, I'd be in a hospital recovering. So emotionally injured, sometimes we just need to recover, right? Now,
Yes.
coming back to the second thing, do you remember what you said about intelligence?
Just that being afraid of the intelligence.
Yeah.
I think like more of it is like decision making, like that, like I'm so afraid of my own decisions that I'm going to make the wrong one.
And I'm going to do something with you really quick. I'm so afraid of making the wrong decision because
I don't want to regret it.
And I don't want to regret it because
then I'd fuck up my life.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever made a decision that you've regretted?
Yeah.
You have? And is your life royally fucked up now?
No.
No.
It's so true.
So no, and so I love again the idea that setbacks are comebacks, right?
Yeah.
And I do not believe, Sarah, that the universe is so cruel that we would just fall flat on our face and live with so much regret that, oh my God, for all of eternity, you're going to live as a fuck up. I don't believe I don't believe that. In fact, I'm going to say that like a fuck up is redirection, and redirection is putting us on the path we're meant to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's like, it's almost like a regret is like, in my book, I mentioned it. In fact, it was another thing I saw in a meditation is so interesting. And I actually forgot about it just right now. I saw the word regret, and then I saw the word regret shun. And I heard loud and clear in my mind that when we regret, we regress.
Yeah.
And so regretting anything, we're regressing. Like as we're evolving as a human, we don't want to regress. I don't want to go through some of the life lessons again. I don't. So I'm like, oh, I am not regressing because I've been there, did that, done that. I don't want to go through that again. So, okay, I'm not going to regret. I'm actually going to kind of just live in this place of appreciation. Like, how is this going to work out for my higher good? Because regret will hold you like almost like, and I think it's like a form of arrested development. And it'll hold you it will keep you with stuck energy.
Yeah. It's interesting because even if somebody has made a decision that they did feel like they regret and it did fuck up their life, that you're still regressing if you ruminate on that regression.
There it is. That I heard that loud and clear in a download. So much so I wrote about it because it was so profound to me. Yeah. So it's like, okay. And I don't want to regress. I do not want to go through some of the things I've gone through in my life. So I'm like, okay, where there's progression, we're going forward. We're going forward. We're going forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I don't think you fucked around and found out, Sarah. You're not living with a life of regret. I mean, right. You're not. And so you're still showing up in this world. You're showing up in a big way. You have a podcast. You're giving yourself a voice, right? Your throat chakra has to be somewhat cleared because you are talking to people. So it's like, no, it's you are slapping the label regret and fuck up on it when actually rejection is redirection. All of it.
Absolutely. It's interesting, like the throat chakra thing too, because I feel like that was something that I struggled a lot with, like speaking up and saying my true opinion, because I was so afraid of other people's opinion of me that, like, God forbid I show you any sense of self for then you to open up and judge me. So it's just interesting because it really highlights those real life emotional triggers that do come up, and I don't want to say easy, but simple way of getting in front of them and having those tools, like you're saying, to play that because game. You feel that way because, and,
Yeah.
or another one being like the what if game, saying,
No.
okay,
Yeah.
what if that happens? And what if that happens? And what if that happens? And you
Yeah.
learn that you know how to handle things.
Yeah. So yeah, and so for me, I'm I have like fear of failure kind of shows up and stuff, and now I've tried to I really have practiced turning into joyful curiosity. Just activate joyful curiosity. Like, wow, that was a freaking dumpster fire that just happened. I mean, a dumpster fire. But okay, this is what we're doing. All right, this is what we're doing. Here we go. Here the fuck we go. Okay. And like, okay, dumpster fire with joyful curiosity. What are you going to turn into? Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I, it's so funny because I hear it like even in my mind right now, I say dumpster fire. It's so interesting. In this very moment, I literally heard fire in my belly. So that's interesting. So in a dumpster fire, let's just all say like, okay, that life dumpster fire that I feel like I'm in right now is actually going to put fire in my belly. And I'm going to light this place up. I'm going to light this circumstance up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So just think about that.
Want to know the funniest thing about you saying that?
What?
That is the name of the first episode of Wellish, is Dumpster Fire.
Oh my God, I did not know that. I swear to God, I swear. That's
I figured. That's so cool. See,
Yeah.
Holy universe. I love that.
Yeah, I love synchronicities. I don't depend on them. I don't depend on them, but I love synchronicities, and so
I allow them to show up, and when they do, I listen.
Me too. I just like, okay, there's that wink. There's that wink I need. My love language is words, And so anytime there's a synchronicity, I just kind of see it as like a word from the universe that, hey, okay, Liz, you're on the right path, and I fully accept it, right? I fully accept it. So by all means. So yeah, this is really good. This is such a fun conversation. I know.
I love it. We had talked about reframing the holidays and self-worth. Can you talk about that as we approach, I think, a lot of the things people deal with? It's like what you're talking about with your client, like that stress and pressure around self-worth and family dynamics and expectations. So how can we start reframing these holiday experiences through the lens of self-compassion and neutrality?
Yeah, I think if anything, I would encourage anyone right now as we're entering Thanksgiving and Christmas, whatever your family's holiday, religion, whatever your holiday is, whatever it is, whatever gathering it is, whether it be with friends or family or both, you need to do cognitive restructuring. So what I would do is quiet my mind and I would sit with my feelings. You got to feel to heal. Okay. I'd go back to circumstances that maybe didn't sit well. Like I got in the car crying afterwards, I wanted my blankie because I felt like I was a child. I was in the fetal position in the bathroom, bawling my brains out. I want you to go back to those memories and I want you to offer yourself some cognitive restructuring where you're like, what would I do differently knowing what I know now? Knowing what I know now. We need to see these people from the adult lens based on our experiences. We're sitting in a plethora of experiences, right? And so for me personally, like my mom was her second husband, would trigger me beyond, this is like when I was 18, 19 years old. I look at him now through my lens and I'm like, what? Why would I even, why? So a clear intention. So do some cognitive restructuring, see the circumstances where maybe the person is triggering. They're going to say something like, oh, it looks like you put on a little bit of weight. Are you married yet? Whatever. Why don't you have kids yet? Do you even like your job? We wanted you to be something else. Whatever the phrase is, replay it. But this time, think of how your best version of yourself would stay steady again and also respond and play it out and practice. And also, I just believe this, and I just believe it to my core. I have to set intentions. Like Liz, you're setting an intention. I just worked with a client yesterday. She's literally taking a flight to Hawaii to be with a family, and there's no getting out. She's got a flight 1 week from now. And so she could change her flights, but ideally she's staying put. And so we did some intention setting So what worked for her was she saw herself on the plane coming back, and she saw it with her original ticketed date. Okay. So it's 1 week from now. So it's actually, the Friday after Thanksgiving. So she saw that ticket, she saw herself using that ticket, and she saw herself patting herself on the back, like, girl, you did it. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not, there's a time where she actually left the Hawaii family gathering early. She paid big bucks to get on a plane and get out of Dodge,
Mm-hmm.
She's being intentional this time. She's like, no, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going to make it so I show up and they see me. I deserve to be seen and heard. She set all these intentions, wrote them out. She's looking at them every morning when she's in that theta state when she first wakes up. So she's looking at them. She's setting intentions, and she's seeing herself getting on the plane at that original ticket date for the return, and she's patting herself on the back, because
Mm-hmm.
seeing is believing. Thoughts become seeing, things, and believing is seeing. So she's going to allow this to unfold and catch herself. She's not going to, it's the definition of insanity, right? So when we keep saying
Yeah.
the same thing and responding the
Same
same
thing
way,
over and
yeah,
over.
it's
Yep.
insanity. So she's like, I'm responding differently. I'm saying things differently. I'm being different. And then, okay, oh, but those people are going to just, totally judge me and have reactions. We are not responsible for them. In fact, I'm going to say something that means so much to me. When we protect others, by changing our behavior, we're manipulating their soul's path. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
hear me on this. So if I'm not showering, or if I am changing my belief system, or just really catering to them in every way, I might be manipulating why they are here on this planet. Maybe it's their opportunity that they need to learn to be nice and play well in the sandbox, right? So their words and their reactions to me, I am impenetrable at this point. Like, okay, I'm going to take whatever you say, and later I'm going to process it. But in this moment, I'm not going to let you diffuse who I am, my being, who all that I've worked on. I'm not.
God,
I'm
that's huge.
huge, huge.
Yeah.
And so many of us, especially if we're with a narcissist or dealing with an alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
we spotlight and we make everything great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because God forbid that you ruffle feathers with certain segments of our population. Well, when you have the spotlight, like getting straight A's or looking good all the time or being fit and the house is always clean, you're spotlighting on things away from actually the stuff that maybe is causing so much grief. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're engaged in spotlighting, you're getting depleted. You're getting depleted, right? And so do what you have to do to survive and tend to your well-being, but we don't need to necessarily protect others from their life lessons, their soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a different way to look at it. It's such a good perspective shift because I think that like that's what I learned a lot with people pleasing, that like people pleasing is technically manipulative, that you are not giving people your genuine truth, but taking it the step further and saying that people aren't able to adhere to their soul path when you don't react to things or you let them get away with whatever bad behavior they do. It's such a cool, interesting perspective. And I like what you said too about your client writing the intentions out
Yeah.
ahead of time, because I think that a lot of us let our ego get in the way and just say, oh, okay, we got that, no big deal, I know what to do, I've set my intention, we're good to go. And it's really that extra effort and having it in front of you, and it's just such a powerful tool to have in your tool belt when you're in those situations. It's like a lifeline to cling on to, that you say, okay, I have this intention, I know it because I wrote it down, because I looked at it this morning, I looked at it on the plane, I wrote it down when I had my meeting with Liz, and you can remember it and hold yourself accountable because of it.
Yeah, I love that. And, I'm going to remind everybody listening, you're the main character. You
Mm-hmm.
are the main character. This is your story. You hold the damn pen, right?
Yeah.
Don't give your pen away. Don't let someone else rewrite your story. You hold the
Right.
pen, right? And so it does, though, how it does call for you to be very intentional, very in tune, very mindful, right? And so that is so important. And someone might say, oh, this is so much work. Well, the effort will eventually become effortless, less effort.
Mhm.
Yeah, initially, sure, but and sure, that's okay. But I allow for the disequilibrium. I allow for the imbalance because I know that's again in the discomfort where the expansion happens. I'm actually scared sometimes more, Sarah, of situations I feel comfortable in or
Mm.
people I feel comfortable with. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, why am I so comfortable with this person I just met? Oh, I know, because you're an alcoholic. You're a narcissist. I'm so comfortable with
Mm.
you because this is what I know growing up, right? So
Interesting.
someone comes on, they're like, oh, I feel like we know each other. Gosh, you get me. I'm like, oh, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that means I'm reverting to type often. And my
Mhm.
type and my comfort zone, based on my childhood, is by all means a narcissist, by all means, maybe someone who abandons or ghosts, and the alcoholic, So when there's a comfort zone and it's like, and then someone definitely says, oh my God, you totally get me,
Mhm.
especially when one's out there
You're like,
dating.
why?
Why? Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I actually don't love that.
So, but if they say, give me, oh, because we're, like you said, loyal, smart, fun, I'll take it. But they're like,
Mhm.
oh my God, no one really understands the alcohol brain. No one really understands how a narcissist works. I'm like, oh boy,
Mhm.
I'm taking on
Mhm.
someone else that I have to, like another project for Liz, someone to heal. And I,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I just, I'm just eyes wide open to that, eyes wide open to my comfort zones.
Absolutely. You had said too, I'm curious because I'm trying to remember exactly what I wanted to ask you because I just got so swept up in what you were saying. But you were talking about the party, the being at the family event. And how do you prevent? So you're talking about, okay, go back to a time that something bad happened and rewrite how
Mhm.
you did that. How do you do that without crossing the line of predicting the future and having like future anxiety, like creating situations and coming up with solutions for those situations?
Yeah, I don't even do that at all. I just go back and restructure what happened and
Mm,
release it. So, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? But all I could do is fill my emotional toolbox up with different responses because whatever we tolerate, expect more of. So if year
mhm,
after year, year visit after visit, same things are happening, I need to put something else in my emotional toolbox. So, most likely, if it's definitely a pattern of human behavior in a family dynamic or a friendship dynamic or a relationship dynamic, most likely I don't need a crystal ball. It's going to happen again.
mhm,
Now, how I respond is what I'm in control of.
mm.
How I respond. So, what can I put in my emotional toolbox today so I'm responding differently?
Yeah.
So I feel better. I don't care about other people in this moment and how they're reacting. That is their journey. But I really need to tend to my being and my vibrational garden, right?
Mhm.
So let me use the garden analogy. We're going to pull some weeds here, right? And we're going to
Mhm.
nurture the soil. And by that, I mean go back and think like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I lost my temper at the table. I can't believe they got the best of me. Okay, this next time if this happens at the table and they're asking me personal questions and they're probing me, I'm going to secretly take my shoes off. I'm going to put my feet on the ground and I'm going to ground. I'm going to take a nice deep breath and just say my intention for the evening. I just really want to have fun. I want to enjoy family. I really don't want to talk about anything personal right now.
Mhm.
They probe and saying everything, gosh, past the butter, whatever. But
Yeah.
we can't keep doing the same thing, hoping for a different response.
Yeah.
You probably can predict some of the people around us what they're going to do. What I know. I mean, I knew when I go to my grandma's house growing up, she'd be like, oh, looks like you've put on a few pounds. I knew that was
Mhm.
coming. And I would start
Yeah.
crying, and it was like body dysmorphia, like instantaneously kicking in. So I prepared myself. I just prepared myself, and I said, and then say, I just told her, I said, it's good to see you too. good to see you too. Before, instead of this emotional hysteria, oh my gosh, I'm not going to eat Thanksgiving because everyone's looking at Liz and she's gaining weight, blah, 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 whatever it is. No, I'm like, you know what? I just want you to know it's good to see you. I changed my response, and she didn't get her fuel.
Yeah.
They come to you for fuel. And I'm not going to be someone's human fueling station. They can go on to
Right.
the next person, right? I had to change my response. And boy, when I was ready, I was in college, I remember, and I remember taking like feminine psychology or something. I was ready for my grandma. I put my shoulders back. You know what? Good to see you too. And I did it. And she moved on to the next victim. Love her, but she was looking for a human fueling station.
Hmm.
I'm not going to be that for somebody. You can get your fuel from somebody else because it is a
Yeah.
fuel. It is.
And I feel like I feel like we're taught, like, when, especially as people that might have lived part of their life as, like, for lack of a better word, a doormat, like you let people walk all over you, whatever, because you don't want to ruffle feathers, to counter that, you have to do 100% the opposite, and you have to learn how to, and you almost have like these feelings when you are a doormat of like, God, I wish I could just say, fuck you, asshole, or say, no, that's not true, or don't talk
Yeah.
to me like that, but it's just so not that way. And setting boundaries is so not that way. And it doesn't have to be confrontational, and it's not awkward, it's only awkward because people suck and like they feel awkward. So being able to do something like that and make such a change in how you approach it, and know that that doesn't mean that you're being walked on, or know that are standing up for yourself because you're not putting yourself in a situation that you feel deflated. You're
Right.
allowing yourself to feel inflated by giving yourself that grace, even when you're around people that might be energy vampires.
Yeah. It's like, why do you have to be received on the receiving end of basically the fuck you? Right. When
Hmm.
those people are doing that to you, that is in one shape or form. They're giving you the business and you're taking it, but you're not really allowed to reciprocate or mirror that energy, right? So
Hmm.
again, it's about self-preservation. And so going back, going, okay, this time I'm going to put a couple tools in my emotional toolbox. I'm going to see myself persevering through the circumstances. They're going to see a different me. Their reactions, not my problem, not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my clowns, none of it, not my problem.
Hmm.
And I'm going to make steadiness and alignment my ultimate priority. And I'm going to see myself leaving. And, drop the mic, whatever their reaction is when you walk out the door, that is on them, on them. And if they're,
And that's because that's their journey. It's
that's
them,
their
for them to
journey.
figure out what's going on
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and say, you were different this time. Good.
Yeah,
Thank God. You know,
totally.
I'll take that. I don't want to
Hmm.
be the same person that is like on the receiving end of family dynamics that are so toxic and unhealthy. Good. I'm glad you
Yeah.
saw a different me. Good.
I
Thank
like that you say that, because that's such a real feeling that you experience when you start on this journey of trying to figure out, how to set boundaries and be true to yourself, is that you think like, oh, people are going to like see a difference in me. They're going to like know or whatever. And it's like almost debilitating. So I like that you
Well,
mentioned
two
that.
things I've noticed happens with clients and and in my own life. So Sarah, I know that two things happen. Often we attracted people in our lives from a low level vibration.
Hmm.
Okay. And the higher we go up, the more we level up, the more they will easily level off. We'll just naturally lose people that we attracted
Yeah.
from a low level of vibration.
Yeah.
I also know this, and I always go, "Oh, you're an agent." I call them agents. I know that, like, if I'm on this path to learn this particular life lesson, that someone will show up in my life to see if I've learned it. You know,
Ooh. Okay.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, oh, you're an agent. First people listening, like, oh, okay, so you're like, I'm done with narcissists. I am done with men who cheat. And then you meet a guy and he's like, hey, tell me about yourself. Like, okay, well, if I was to call your ex, what would they say? Well, okay, she would probably tell you I cheat, but I don't do that anymore. Like, are we staying? Are we going? You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
is this the hill you want to die on? Okay. So I just know my agents, and I know when they show up, I'm like, okay, I know what you are. You're here to see if I've learned my life lessons. And I'm right now going to show you that I have, and great to meet you, but respectfully, I wish you well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
This conversation has gone in such a different direction than I really thought it
Oh,
was going to,
wow.
because, well, and it's just insane because it still falls in line with the neutrality that, like,
Ah,
I don't know what I expected. I guess I thought that, like, when we talked about making emotions neutral, it was about bringing it to a place of like no feeling, but
no.
it's all the feelings. It's
All the
all the
feelings.
feelings, but just
Ah,
being able to allow yourself to be neutral. Is
ah.
that a good way to word that?
I like that. And also but channel it. Like, okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
channel it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna light this up. I'm gonna put a like light a fire under me, right? So I'm gonna channel this for me. Like I have all these emotions. I can channel it to just let me be completely depressed, lethargic, and woe is me, victim mentality, or I can channel in a way that like, oh no, no, no. Nope. I am going to soar, right?
Hmm.
I am going to soar, really soar. What's that saying? Sarah, like, shoot for the moon. Worst thing that can happen is I fall among the
Land
stars.
in the stars.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Well, and it's just that like it's not good or bad. It's just that it is what it is. And I have to make my next decisions based on that. This is what's happened.
I just did this for myself. I was part of, I even heard there's something called the 3:30 club or 4 a.m. club, whatever. People wake up in the middle of the
Hmm.
night with anxiety, things like that. I used to be like, oh my gosh, why can't I sleep? What is going on with me? And now I'm like, wait a minute. I reframed it like I've been given the gift of time. It is like amazing actually in the middle of the night. I might be a little bit tired the next day, but hello, I'm totally no interruptions. My brain is in this beautiful state where I'm getting like beautiful downloads. And so instead of being mad that I was losing sleep, I reframed it to, oh, I've been given the gift of time. I actually think I manifested it even looking back because I needed some time to think and gather my thoughts. And the universe goes, well, here you go. Right.
Hmm.
So I just so now when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, just so different. And yeah, maybe I'm losing sleep, but I'm also gaining time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's a neutral feeling. Like, I'm so mad. I cannot sleep at night. Or, wow, I have been given this peaceful, tranquil time in the middle of the night to really gather my thoughts. And it's helping me really decipher through things and use discernment in my real life. And wow, okay, thank you. So different.
Yeah.
So it is neutral. It is a conversation about neutralizing emotions. And then what label are we going to put on it? Right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so smart. I love it. I love everything that you've said. So to to wrap it up,
Yeah.
I like to play a game with my guests. I call it kind of toxic, kind of well.
Ooh.
So essentially, I talk to a lot of my guests, or I do this with my guests because they always seem to have it all together. And it highlights that, we don't always have it all together,
No.
but because you guys are so intelligent in this area,
Mhm.
that you give really good advice about how you cope with these things or things that maybe you're not feeling, so
Yeah.
people can have the hope that you don't have to feel this way forever. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I've got these last couple questions for you.
Let's go for it.
When do you find yourself feeling anxious?
Um, First thing in the morning. First thing in the morning. And it's just one of those. It's just right when I wake up, and but I've also set intentions around this. I wake up with that feeling of a little tightness in my chest, and I've come a long way. But I have that, and I did something recently to help me out with this, and I no longer have your typical like my phone next to me. It's not my first thing I look at. So I don't see texts and emails, things like that. I have the old school alarm clock.
Mm.
So within my power, I was able to I'm now able to look at time without seeing messages and things on a phone. Because I went back in my mind when I was a teenager and I loved waking up because my favorite song came on the radio or whatever.
Hmm.
So I did that. But first thing in the morning, I get a little anxious. Yeah. Yeah.
What causes you to doubt yourself?
If I hear said parent's voice in my head, yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
sure.
definitely. And so I recognize it. I know what it sounds like. I know what the verbiage is. And so if I hear that said parent in my mind, I say, thank you for visiting. And now it's time to go.
Mm,
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
When do you catch yourself feeling resentful?
Resentful. I've been a single working mom for over 17 years. And anytime I hear anything about working parents, anything about parents at all, I just wish that I could really, you know, have someone walk a mile in anyone's shoes before judgment is passed. So any stigma attached to anybody who's working in general, a working parent, whatever it is, I just feel resentful because the emphasis on work alone is disheartening. But I'm going
Hmm.
to tell you, just because if somebody works does not mean they're not committed to their family.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
When do you feel shameful?
I feel shameful when